minute. Don't touch that dial. Wake the kids, phone the neighbors. It's time once again for the amazing adventures of Doctor Moo. Had just called the doctor to the witness stand.
All right, doctor. Place your left hoof on the atlas, raise your right hoof. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Doctor, what is your full name? Where were you born? How old are you, and what do you do for a living?
Is this really relevant to the case?
Not really. It's just a courtesy for the listeners who tuned in late.
Oh. Well, my full name is Dr. Moo. I haven't got any other. I was born here on Gandy Goose on September 3rd, year of our Lorne Green, 78,525. My occupation is freelance interplanetary adventurer.
You say you were born in 78,525?
Yes.
By my calculations, that would make you 416 years old at the moment, Doctor.
That's correct.
That makes the conduct you are charged with all the more puzzling. I could almost understand it if a kid of 95 stole a tardy to go out joyriding like Don Coyote, but...
Objection, Mr. Legotsky has no right to make any moral judgment about my client. The law is one thing and morals are quite another.
Objection sustained. Stick to the charges, Mr. Legotsky.
Very well. Doctor, on the night of you be wearing?
That's it.
78,940, you did or did not steal a tardy?
I did not steal any tardy. I rented one.
You have not kept this tardy out for nearly 2 years longer than you were supposed to?
Well, yes, I have. But between my battles with the Mersey mop tops of Dave Clark 5, the Rummy Bears of 90 Proof, and the Dotted Lions of Terralong, I kind of lost track of the time. I'd be glad to pay damages or do community service or something.
Not good enough, Doctor. At the very least, your tardy will be repossessed.
But why?
Jurors and spectators, shall we refresh the doctor's memory? What is the third commandment of Gandy Goose?
Repossession is 9/10 of the law. All right, everyone. 60 minutes have gone by since we started this trial, and it's time to call a break. We'll resume in 10 minutes.
I'm worried, Doctor. This doesn't sound good at all.
You could be right, Perry. Mr. Mason, what do you think my chances are at the moment?
Well, Doctor, Mr. Legotsky talks a good game, but so far he hasn't come up with any real evidence. It's all been circumstantial.
Well, that's nice to know. Does it mean we still have a shot at winning?
Well, the way I see it, the only way Legotsky can possibly win this case is if he springs a surprise witness on us. I've used that trick a few times myself.
Well, I see by the ticking of the clock on the wall that 10 minutes are up. Court is now in session. Mr. Legotsky, do you have anything more to say before I call on Mr. Mason?
Yes, Your Honor. I'd like to call a surprise witness.
Oh, no!
Well, Mr. McGruff Jr., please come to the stand.
Here I am.
All right, place your left foot on the atlas and raise your right hoof. Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
I object.
On what grounds, Mr. Mason?
Testimony given by minors is not legally admissible in a Goosey and court. With all due respect to Mr. Gruff, you can see for yourself that he's only a kid.
Objection to the objection, Your Honor. As Mr. Mason surely must know, there are 2 exceptions to that law. Testimony by minors is acceptable if the minor in question is only a witness to a crime.
Objection to Mr. Legotsky's objection to my objection. It's not been firmly established that a crime has been committed.
Objection to Mr. Mason's objection to my objection to his objection. The second The second objection to Mr. Mason is
Could you please rephrase that? Thank you.
the second exception to that Mr. Mason is objecting to states that minors may give testimony in behalf of anyone they are not related to if they are the only witness, and thanks to one of those astonishing coincidences that the script writers are so fond of, my witness meets both criteria. So, there.
The law is on Mr. Legotsky's side, Mr. Mason. Therefore, I'll have to overrule your objections and sustain Mr. Legotsky's objections. And if I hear the word objection one more time, I'm going to throw the whole bunch of you in jail. Even if it is kind of an interesting word.
Mr. Gruff, what is your first name? Where were you born and how old are you? And what do you do for a living?
My full name is William McGruff Jr., and I was born on the planet Andy Panda in the Walter Lands sector. I'm 19 years old, and I work 3 blocks away over at Cal Worthington's Tardy.
What were you doing on the night of February 12th, 78,940?
I was manning the rental counter alone.
Why were you alone?
Miss Worthington wanted to go to a lecture at the museum that night, so she left me in charge.
And that was when the doctor stole the tardy?
He didn't steal it. He filled out the forms, put down the money, and...
Very well. This is when the doctor rented the tardy.
He didn't rent it, Mr. Legotsky. He bought it.
What?
Order in court.
Oh, I have a salad garnished with onions, a slice of pepper.
Bailiff, throw that pig out of the courtroom. Good Lord. What a trial. It's days like this that I wish I'd listened to my mother, to what my mother used to say.
What did your mother used to say?
You know, I don't know. I never listened. Go on with the trial, Mr. Legotsky. We still have to finish it.
Mr. Gruff, we've been after the doctor for 2 years now for the possession of an overdue tardy. And now you tell us that he bought it? Why didn't you let us know this 2 years ago?
Because I didn't know myself until earlier this morning. It's kind of a long story.
Go ahead, tell it. We've got a time slot to fill.
When the doctor came in that night, he was in a big hurry. He wanted to rent one of our $95 discount specials for 3 weeks. I got the forms out, he signed them, then he slapped down a $200 bill on the counter. I didn't have any change, and he was in too big a hurry to wait, so he told me to keep the change, and he left.
The point of all this eludes me.
I'm getting to it. When I dug out my copy of the receipt this morning, I found out that I'd given him a purchase agreement instead of a rental agreement. The doctor picked one of our Handy Bull specials to rent, and they go for $197 complete. You have 30 days to return it if you aren't satisfied, and after that, you're stuck with it, whether you want it or not. So the doctor owns that tardy as far as we're concerned.
Well, I guess there's nothing left to do but deliver the verdict. Members of the jury, have you reached a conclusion?
We had, Your Honor. We find the defendant incredibly careless, but otherwise innocent of all charges.
Case dismissed.
Crashing carrots, Doctor, you won!
What do I owe you, Mr. Mason?
We'll talk about that after the show, Doctor. I never collect a fee on the air.
And, well, that's it for this week's show. Until next time, stay tuned to the infinite reaches of outer space for the further adventures of a bull who never steers you wrong, Doctor Moo. This is radio station KFAN in Chico, California.
You ever wonder about call letters, stations? Oh, never mind.